Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Today we are going to discuss about the most important topic of Python, which is flow control and iterations. As their name indicates, the flow control is used to control the flow of a code or flow of a program. Like if there are multiple statements in our code, so we need some conditions or we need some loops to control the iterations, or we have to control the sequence or order of these statements. So flow control is basically is, you can say, the order or sequence in which any individual statement or any instruction we give in our code or any function calls are executed or evaluated. So flow control are that those flow controls that we use in our program are flow controls are there are multiple statements that are used to control the flow of a code are conditional statements and loops, etc. Okay, these statements used to control the flow in our code. There is one another thing, iterations. Okay, wait. Iterations. Iterations means that allow. So okay, for iteration we use another term, iterator, which is like, you can say, an object that allow you to iterate or collection of data. Collection of data means like lists, or we create a set or tuples, anything. These objects allow us to iterate our collection of data. So iteration basically is used for the number of lines we execute in our code, or for the repeated values, or to count the number of data we give in our list or we give in our sets. So iteration basically is used to count the number of values in our list or tuples or in our set. So used to count the in our sets, tuples, or lists. Okay, so Python code or program contains we know that we write a sequence of statements, we write the instructions in our code. So Python basically contains a different set of statements or sequence of instructions or sequence of function calls. So interpreter, what does interpreter do? The interpreter execute each statement in order until there are no more statements left. So basically, I trade through each statement until there are no more statements left. So before discussing about the conditional statements and loops and iterations, first I'm going to tell you about the basic operators that we use in our conditional statements or in our loops. So com these are the comparison operators. What are the comparison operators? Comparison, as the name indicates, are used to compare, is used for comparison between the two values. Like we say that if this value is equal to this value, if this value is greater than or equal to this value, or if this value is less than or equal to this value. So these operators are um equal to, not equal to, less less than, okay, greater than, greater, less than, equal to, and greater than equal to. So these operators evaluate to true or false depending on the value we give to them. These values only return true if if the condition is true. These values are returned false if the condition is false. For example, okay, for comparison operators, I'm going to write here a simple code like hello is equal to hello. Okay, now it will return true if it's true. It will return false if the statement is false. So see, hello is not equal to hello because in here the h is small and here the h is capital. So equal, these conditions are used to compare between the two values. For example, x 42 is greater than equal to 23, sorry, 41. It's true, so it will return true. There is another operator which is called a Boolean operator. What does this operator do? It will return only true or false. It contains mostly the three operators, which is and, or, and not operator. What does these operators do? These operators are used in our code to return the values like true or false. If the condition is true, it will return true, and if the condition is false, it will return false. For example, uh, for an AND operator, there are four conditions. We say that if both values are true, then it will return true. If any value is false, it will return false. If both values are false, it will return false. But in OR, the condition is different. We say that if both values are true, it will return true. If any of the value is false, it will return still it will return true. If both values are false, then it will return false. And definitely not operator used to change the original value to like opposite value. If the value is true, it will return to false, and if the value is false, it will return it to true. There is another operator, mixing operator. It means that there can be multiple operators used in the statement, like greater than, equal to, and, or. So example of mixing operator we'll use here, like here 4 is less than 5 and 5 is less than 6. Sorry, less than 6. Oh, okay, sorry. So here there are two operators are used. One is the comparison operator and other is the Boolean operator. So it will return us a value true because both the conditions are true. Okay, understood with the operators, which are basically the important operators we'll use in our conditional statements and in our loops, etc. Okay, now important thing is conditional statements. What are the conditional statements? Conditional statements are basically those statements that evaluate an expression. These statements are used to evaluate any expression. Means if that expression is true, it will execute the following intended code. If that expression is false, it will not execute the code. That means the evaluation of an expression. So if conditions are usually used with some expression, we give an expression and we write a condition. If the condition is true, we will execute the expression. If the condition is false, we will not execute the expression. For example, x equal to 10 if x equal to 10, print x. Okay, see, we gave we assign a value to a variable x, which is 10, and we wrote a condition that if x is equals to 10, because the condition is true, because the variable value is 10, so it will print 10. If we write here 8, so it will not print anything. Okay, now another example, name is equals to Ikra. Okay, if name is equals to Ikra, sorry, print hi Ikra. Okay, and if name not equal to Ikra, print you are not Ikra. See, and we gave a name which is Ikra, and we wrote a condition that if the name is Ikra, then print hi Ikra, and if the name, if it's not Ikra, then print you're not Ikra. So see what it will execute. See, because we gave a right condition and the condition is true, so it will print hi Ikra. Otherwise it will print, if this condition will true, it will print you're not Ikra. There is another statement, else statement. Else. Why we use else statement? Else statement execute only if evaluation of if and else if expressions are false. If the if expression is false, then we will execute the else statement. For example, name is equals to Ikra if name is equals to Amna, print hi Amna. Okay, and else print you are not Amna. No, see, the name is Ikra, and we give the condition that if name is Amna, the condition is already false, so it will not print the if statement, but it will rather print the else statement. That's how the if and else statements work. Now there is another statement, else if, which can be written as elif in Python. So what will this statement execute? If the if condition is false, then our code execute the else if condition, and if again the else if condition is false, our code execute the else condition, else statement. Now we'll see how it works. Number is equals to 5 if number is equals to 6, print number is 6. Okay, else if number is equals to 5 print number is 5. See, we gave a number 5, but in if condition, the condition is number is equals to 6. We assign a value to this variable which is 5, but in condition we are assigning a number 6 to num variable, so this condition is false, so definitely our code will execute else if condition, because else if condition is true. If the else if condition is false, then our code will execute the else condition. There's another code which is another program which is num1 is equals to 7 and num2 is equals to 8. If num1 is greater than num2, print num1 is greater. Okay, else if num1 is equal to num2, print both are sorry yes, both are equal, and else print wrong numbers. Now see what will happen. Sorry. See, now there are two numbers, which is a num1 value is 7 and num2 its value is 8. The first condition is num1 is greater than num2, which is false because we know that 7 is less than 8. So this condition is false, but definitely our compiler will not execute this statement. It will come to the next statement, which is else if statement, elif. It will check the condition which is num1 is equals to num2, which is false because 7 is less than 8, so it will not execute this condition. Okay, I'm sorry. Now the compiler will come to the last statement, which is else statement, because we say that if both the conditions are false, if and else if, then compiler will execute the else statement. Now coming towards the iterations, I already told you that there is an iterator which is used to iterate a collection of data such as lists or tuples or sets. So iteration basically used to iterate over long data or that contain a series of sets, lists, tuples, etc. So it contains the following iteration methods, or you can say yes, iteration method, which is loops. So there are three loops: for loop, while loop, and do while loop. And there we can can use range sometimes. So first of all, we'll discuss the for loop. What is for loop? For loop is used to iterate, or for loop is basically used for iteration, just used for iterations over list, tuples, dictionaries, sets, or any string. So if we give a string, it will return, and we use for loop, it will return sometimes a sequence of characters, or it will return a string, or when we use a list, it will return a set of data used in the list. So I'm going to write a for loop, like for example, there's a list containing list fruit containing a list of fruits like apple, banana, okay, banana, grapes, etc. Okay, so I already told you there is an object which is called as an iterator, which is used to iterate over the list, tuples, etc. So I'll use an object which name as uh, for fruit in for your fruits print fruit. Okay, so where's the object? This fruit is an object which will iterate through this list fruits, and fruits containing the three fruits apple, banana, and grapes, and will print the objects. So it will print one by one all the fruits in the list. See, apple, banana, and grapes. So another method, or for iteration method, is range. What does range do? Range return a sequence of numbers we give in a list, like not in a list, but we give a number in a loop, so it will return a number, and it basically starts from 0, and it increments one by one. It increments every value by 1 and stops before a specified number. Specified number means the number we give in our range, it is the specified number, so it will stop before that specified number. For example, if we give number 3 in our range, so 3 will be our specified number, so it will stop before 3, which is number 2. For example, for I in the range 10, so our specified number is 10, so it will start with 0 and increments every number by 1. For example, 0, and then increment 0 by 1, 1, then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and it will stop before the specified number, so it will stop at 9. Now print, let's see, it it will start from 0 and continue till 10. Sorry, still 9. Okay, sometimes we can write it as for I in range 5 comma -1 comma -1. Sorry, print I. See, we gave a starting number 5, so it will start with 5, and this -1 means that it will decrement 5 by -1, and this -1 means that the specified number is -1, so it will stop before -1, which is 0, and we give an a decrementing value as well. So how will the compiler, if we do not give a decrementing value, so how will the compiler know that we should increment 5 or we should decrement 5? So definitely we gave a decrementing number, so it will start from 0, it will start from 5 and it decrements every value by 1. So 4 3 2 1 0. It stopped at 0 because our specified number is -1. So our next method, iteration method, is, or loop, is while loop. Simple while loop is the simplest loop. So while loop is used, or while loop will execute the code until the condition is true. If the condition is false, it will not execute anything. If the condition is true, it will execute or iterate the values. For example, x equals to 1 while x is less than 10. Okay, print x and x plus equals to 1. What does this value means? That first the compiler will check, we assign a value 1 to our variable x, and the condition is x is less than 10. It means that the condition is true because 1 is less than 10. So the condition is true, it will print the value 1. So how will it goes to the next value? So it is a increment, we increment x, or we increment our variable by 1. So in every iteration our variable will be incremented by 1 until our condition is false. When our condition is false, our code will terminate and it will print the values. See, it will start from 1 because the value variable is 1, and it will continue till 9 because condition is less than 10. If we write here condition is less than equal to 10, sorry, less than equal to 10, it means that, it mean, why is it giving, okay, it means that uh, it will reach till 10 because x is less than or equal to 10, so it will print 10 as well. So in while condition, we do not know the how many times we need to execute our code. So in while condition, the increment, or the where we increment our variable, we increment our variable after the condition. Okay, and the last one is the most simplest one, is do while. The both while and do while are similar, but in do while the code in the loop block will be executed at least one time, whether the condition is true or whether the condition is false. If it doesn't matter, but in do while the code will execute the block at least one time. In while, what's the difference? In while condition, if the condition is true, it will execute the block. If the condition is false, it will not execute any statement. But in do while, what does what does it do? It will execute the code in the loop block at least one time. I hope you understood the topic, flow controls, conditional statements, loops, iterations, and comparison operators.